the most. I would be surprised if we saw an early Zehen. Could be, I mean, Camille, I don't think so, but...
I think you're forgetting one. I think you're forgetting one legendary top laner right now.
Well, for now,
Cassante.
I don't have to remember it.
True.
Cassante. Jackson to Cassante, is that...
It's bad.
A really...
You will get destroyed.
Is it really bad?
Yes. He will clap you. So, a matchup that they might be looking. Also, Renekton. Still haven't seen him here yet, so still a good enough Jax answer. Two champions that have been permabanned all series long is the Jarvan and the Nico. Both of them going to their respective teams. A really strong bottom lane duo here for Gala and Vampire.
Yeah, the Jax ban and the Kai'Sa ban means that both of these get through. But what are you pairing with this Jarvan? There's no Orianna. There's no Azir. Could be an Aurora. Could just be some safety in the bot lane. The bot lane is already very tough, no matter what. It could be an Ezreal Karma. We saw that in our first series tonight. Ezreal Karma got some really nice push, and it was against an Ashe Seraphine. Really did some work into that lane. But the Corki Nico, very, very strong. It will just be the Ezreal Karma. So you could match jungle here, or maybe get something in your top lane. I mean, Renekton would be nice here too.
It's going to be interesting because there's not a ton of answers. I do think that there's a conversation to have that Mundo is very good in this game, but we have seen multiple times that if you're going to play Mundo into Jarvan, he's just going to lock you in the baby cage and then leave. And then Mundo's just standing there like a little bit of a bum. So we'll get through the first half of draft here with really good team fighting tools. I would say generally I favor the upfront damage of a Corki and a Nico, but from the laning phase, Karma's going to be able to abuse this Nico with no tank stats, and unless something horribly does go wrong in the early game, this Ezreal should be able to stay safe enough that you're able to, you know, whittle down your opponents.
Yeah, the Ezreal Karma push is quite important. The early ganks from the Jarvan could be an impact in the bot lane, but Corki is mobile. I think that, again, dragon sacking is important. You could put that on a replay every game, to be fair, and it would be the same. But with the Ezreal Karma push, Jarvan early game, the thing for me, though, for this IG draft is I want to see something that hits hard. You've got an Ezreal that has good, consistent damage. It's safe, and it's got range. You've got a Jarvan, but I'd love an Aurora, but it's been banned away. Maybe a Karma. Sorry, I looked at Karma because I was looking at rookie. A Syndra. Maybe a Syndra for rookie might be nice. The Syndra Jarvan could be nice. It's also a bit of a takeaway from the Wukong. But I think rookie's going to have to dig a bit deep here. Multiple bans being done against mid.
Ooh, Galio as well. I mean, yeah, Syndra's looking nice. I do think that there's maybe an argument for Talia. Talia alongside a Jarvan can be really, really dangerous to deal with all of that crowd control. So we'll see. Remember, there is no Scion either, so in terms of tanks, we're kind of running out of space here. Jax plus Cassante ban means we're probably going for Renekton, and in that case, does that mean that we're going to get a Gnar potentially here for Soboro, or are we going to be looking for maybe some weaker champions, like, let's say, a Zehen that we have seen, I think, Xiaoxu play remarkably on.
And running the gauntlet here with the Rakan, like you talked about, the Gnar matchup, we've been seeing it pop back up. There was a period of time when Gnar wasn't getting played at all, but has been popping up into the Renekton specifically and finding a ton of success on there, leaving HongQ for our 10th pick counter pick, Aatrox in the top lane. It's playable against the Renekton. It doesn't win. It's not... Okay, I'm going to wait because we're getting baited. If this gets locked in, the Shy took over Soboro's PC, and someone needs to figure out how that happened. How did he sneak into the venue? Yeah, he plugged in. This is second of the night. Actually, you know what's funny? Ezreal Karma Zoe was played in our first series as well. Yes. So this is the second time in one night that it's getting played.
And we're getting, I think, a really strong identity here for them. Ezreal Zoe, great poke. I am worried for the front line of this team. It feels like for Invictus Gaming, they have no other choice but to be winning or to be ahead. Because if you're behind as a poke team, you're not going to have the damage to really, I think, kind of put forward the bill for this kind of squad. And Ornn is great, but Ornn isn't a champion that tends to stand in front of his team. So I really need to see this jungle support duo, Jwei and Wei, link up together. I think a Jarvan with the Karma could be nice, but it's all about execution, and we have seen that be a big problem for IG tonight.
I think that Gragas has that kind of identity that you were talking about, Alk. It allows something to find catch, some form of like really snappy engage for IG, but it is going to be the TF locked in for HongQ, who said 2026 has all the same champions. Fearless is the GOAT, but we've got in the big 26, we have Zoe versus TF in the mid lane.
We're going back to 2021, baby. Decisive Fate is back. Zoe is back. This is the second ever Tier 1 or major region Twisted Fate. It was played previously by Showmaker this year in the LCK, but it is our first here in the LPL. Very exciting stuff to kind of see. I'm taking a look at last year's matchups. And the last time we would have seen it would have been JDG versus Weibo, actually. This was Scout playing it. He did end up leading it to a win in the regional finals versus Akali. But, I mean, this is great side lane play. Again, this is not a matchup that you're really going to be able to abuse early on. But for Twisted Fate, you just move around the map. You can even pick Zoe inside. I think this is a really, really interesting draft here for Jindong.
I mean, it allows something to guaranteed hit the Zoe. We saw in the first series, it was the Vi that altered Zoe when she went over the wall. This time you've got a stun card ready to go, so I think Rookie's going to have to be locked in on those hops over the wall if he doesn't want to get caught. But the poke comp, I mean, very strong if you're hitting your buttons, but JDG with the team fighting draft again.
Can they execute on it, though? It's a big, big emphasis on that if. Remember, a single loss here tonight in the series column means that Invictus Gaming are relegated to playing that play-ins versus Group Perseverance and Group Nirvana, while a win here tonight for JDG means that they all but lock up top 4, and there's only one spot left for a guaranteed place in playoffs. Let's kick it over to game number 3 of this series. Keep the faith, JDG fan leader. Keep the faith, okay? Just because IG have bigger pockets than you, at least in this game, doesn't mean you can't win.
Yeah, the first chant from him, he said Jingdong. I think everyone kind of forgot that they were doing that, or you know, that maybe they were too locked into the game. After that, everyone woke back up, and we got some loud fan chants. Now, TF versus Zoe. I expect that pick potential, like Zoe has the potential to one-shot you as it gets later and later, but TF obviously has better roam potential, better catch potential, and like you mentioned, the side lane, whether that's roaming down to assist in this bot lane, because Ezreal Karma is pretty volatile.
Yeah.
Very squishy, not a ton of CC to help peel. I mean, Ezreal's got mobility, but if HongQ can get out of this lane into the side lane and get on these Drakes, I think it could be really nice for JDG, but they are for now stuck in some pretty losing lanes.
This is the big problem with this, is while Ezreal can't clear a wave or cut a rogue like a Corki and a Nico can, if he just takes away your HP bar, you're never touching the mini wave to begin with. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Currently it is 2 waves or 2 lanes of priority that Wei will be able to play with. Junglers are going towards the bottom side of the map here, so I don't think we'll be expecting too much early action, especially with the historical events of this series. We haven't seen all that much happen.
And then with these junglers, I mean, Wukong and Jarvan, you can look for these early ganks. They do have gap close. I think Jarvan's a little bit better because he has CC, but we don't tend to see a ton of dives in this meta at all, like level 3 dives. We don't tend to see some really early ganks as the Tether will come and root up Vampire. He has flash.
Yeah, I think he's just going to have to blow it. So no flash from Photic. A decent trade, but I think taking experience away from Nico is so big because so much of her power budget, especially early on with all of her nerfs, is put into that Pop Blossom. Now, a couple of things to note. One, JunJia is here, and they did spot Wei when he entered the Tri-Brush. There is also the home guards that is letting Vampires start to get back here, but that is potentially a plate now going over to Invictus Gaming's bottom lane, and a good look already to start here for IG.
At least
No
the
plate.
doesn't end up going over. Very nice. Photic wants to get that tempo reset instead, but the flash has been used for Ezreal. Still very, very safe on this pick. Cleanse this game means that in the 1v1, like, technically, Gala is advantaged because of the barrier, but in the like team fights, you've got, you know, the Tangle Barbs, the Pop Blossom, the stun card from HongQ, the stun from Xiaoxu, so the cleanse is going to find a ton more value, and you could look to go on Mikhail's as well from Jwei. There is a lot of CC, CC to try to catch, and you know that's true because Rookie also has cleanse, so both backliners have cleansed this game.
Wanted to take a look at what Rookie or what HongQ was setting up with. It seems like this is a Q max, so just trying to go for a bit of a one-shot on the wave. If you do red card plus Q, the entire backline of caster minions is gone, and especially now with less minions per wave, it's going to be a lot easier for him to get priority here. Gala and Vampire are trading. The tether doesn't go through, but coming back to this mid lane, when I talk about Twisted Fate a lot of the time is as long as he survives to his first recall, this champion is so good. Like, again, the ability to play so flexibly with how many cards he has. I think the gold card, that being a point and click if he's able to auto this Zoe, is really, really massive for the matchup. And while we won't see jungles too early on, it does mean that IG have to play with a lot of precision in fights. Because you know, if you misstep, gold card, Tangle Barbs, Wukong engage, all of that is coming right for you.
I'm going to say something that's going to upset some people here. Okay, so lock in. But I know I have some crazy takes when it comes to picks. I was a fan of the AD/TF top meta. I was a fan of it. I know that's disgusting, but I liked the RFC fishing with a card look. I think that people played it really well.
Yeah.
And it looked quite interesting. What are your thoughts on this?
I usually like it. Also, crit gives you more gold on your passive on TF, so if you kill units, you get more gold. It's just a really cool interaction. JunJia's going to get hit with Tether. I think is a big win for JDG. Even if JunJia dies here, I don't really care about that. I think the fact that they drew them off the dragon is a big win for JDG. Yeah. They stopped Jwei from doing this, and now he can't start up the dragon again. He has to take the scuttle. The
problem is, though, is that Jwei's going to get 6 off the scuttle when that spawns, unless he just wants to start the dragon back up. But then he has Cataclysm, and JunJia has reset, but it won't be the dragon. It's just maybe we can see what we can pull out. But and you know what? If Jwei resets here, JunJia goes bot, gets the scuttle, and then maybe has level 6 to start up the Drake on its own right. That would be crazy. But instead, JDG think that Jwei has stayed, and he's maybe going topside or just wants to do their camps.
They have vision, and we didn't talk about it earlier because we were talking about a couple other things, but there was a timer around 3-4 minutes where we saw HongQ walk into topside river. He gets the blast cone or the vision cone. He spots out Jwei on his topside camp, so they have all of the timers available to them for Jwei's Red, Krugs, and Raptors. They know he has to be on topside, and if he starts that dragon, not only does JunJia potentially get all of his topside camps, he also has this quadrant that we just saw him farm up. Now they're looking for an engage. HongQ's very low. This is all for just to get JunJia this way, or get HongQ this wave, but I think it's really dangerous with Rookie having both Flash and Ignite available.
He'll need to most likely ult back to the wave. No, he's actually staying, so
Goat.
Again, a bit risky, but should be able to pick up the wave mostly for free. Jwei did rotate up to the top lane to help Rookie get the push out as he was pretty low on mana, but despite having maybe a contentious little couple of minutes there, doesn't end up mattering a whole lot. Jwei will clear out those wards on the dragon, and now IG will finally get this scuttle, but Jwei is already well beyond level 6. So both junglers have access to that ult. I think that for Jwei, I feel like it's a little better at this part of the game. You've got Vampire that you can trap. You've got HongQ that you can trap. There is flashes available for those members, but losing flash on like a TF is really valuable. Losing flash on a Nico this early is really valuable as well. JunJia is around.
Destiny is put out. The dragon still goes over to IG. One of the most dangerous parts about playing against a Twisted Fate is that if he is not on map, if you do not have eyes on him, and he has ultimate, expect that there's a Twisted Fate coming soon. You always, it's in the back of your mind. You have to recognize that there's
Schrodinger's TF.
Exactly. Maybe a Chekhov's Twisted Fate coming on through. So Nothing happens for now. Again, they were still able to grab that bottom side objective with the dragon, but I mean, you always have that possibility, and there are some possibilities, I think, for JDG to play. It's just a little bit harder because you don't have level 6 on Vampire, which will be coming on this next wave.
Just around here. Vampire flashes forward.
Wanted to see if he could catch Photic. Wasn't the case.
He got his
Photic
flash
wasn't paying
back.
attention. Yeah, he got his flash. I'm still going to say here, Jbetto, I would much rather have no flash on a Nico than an Ezreal. This Ezreal has a free flash attached to his basic abilities, and Nico flash Pop Blossom is game-changing of a combo. So, I mean, it feels almost like JDG are trying to make plays, but both Wukong and this bottom lane really aren't clicking immediately. So, it isn't a huge lead opened up, but it's just taking away plays from JDG, and that's problematic in my mind.
Well, Pop Blossom is available now. I was half expecting JunJia to come through the wave and wait for Pop Blossom and then go for a play onto Photic, but it is so tough, like you said, with the free flash in base kit plus the flash that Photic no longer has access to. But Xiaoxu in the top lane will use Dominus to chunk down Soboro to a little under 1,000 HP and push out his wave on his own. That'll give Prio over to JunJia to do these grubs. So some very nice play here. There's a minion. There is a suspicious minion in mid. Alk, I don't want to alarm you.
I think you
he's
should.
chilling there.
I think you should. I think that's a great point being brought up. You know, there's 3 Renekton's on the minimap. How is this possible? I know there are leather makers around the world that are excited at the prospect of multiplying crocodiles, but we'll leave that for later. So the grubs and the Scuttle go over to JDG, and while nothing really happens on the rest of the map, Twisted Fate Ultimate is coming back up. You do see some completed items starting to be finished here by JDG, so this is around the time where it's going to get a little bit questionable. Thank you for all the question mark pings. I really appreciate it.
Dude, that's step 3 for IG. That's step 3. So are we at step 3 for profit of IG right now? That's good news.
Look, someone has to be an IG fan on this broadcast, and unfortunately, as a rookie guy, every IG series is another possibility for him to disappoint me. So I don't want to be hurt again.
So you've got Rookie letting you down. You've got BLG letting you down. Have you found any success in your happiness in the LPL so far in 2026?
Yeah, it's involved with taking all the free money that is involved with doing a show every single night at 3 in the morning local time. That's the real joy, is getting to see all the fans enjoy the LPL and hopefully be able to match some of our fanaticism for the community. Even if some of you guys are a little bit newer to the broadcast. It's my greatest pleasure being able to enjoy fandom amongst others.
Probably the best answer he got to come up with. How do I match that now? What do I say?
You're the guy that's has
I like
with
being
words,
here
man.
too. I have been known. I'm gonna put that in my Twitter bio. It's gonna say "way with words." That's just it. Nothing else.
Now, is it way IG with words, or is are you spelling it like way, like the
Well, my name is Jbetto, so I could say Jwei with words.
We are cooking here, guys. As you can tell, Bupkiss is happening on our screen. We're seeing full clears, we're seeing wave clears, we're seeing no kills though.
Is this the latest game in 2026 for the LPL that we've had a first blood? I feel like the answer is yes.
That's for someone else to find out, and if you post it on Twitter and you at me, at Alk Battery, I will probably see it. Probably not during the game, though. Try not to look there while we're in the middle of the show, but if you have that, you can also go to our community Discord. Actually, perfect plug coming in. 3 players in mid lane. Does HongQ survive? The tether will land, the sleep will land, and HongQ will stay on his feet.
Anyway, go to the Discord. It's a lot, fun discussions. I will definitely answer. I don't know if Alk will answer you, but if you at me in the Discord and want a discussion, I will definitely. I was talking to some of the people about who everyone thinks is going to be the first end representatives. It's pretty overwhelming, AL and BLG. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with how some of these teams have been playing. Second Dragon started up. IG looked to be fast-tracking their soul. Some really nice deep vision highlighted by the observers here. JunJia would have to go over the wall. He is going to do it.
Oh, that's on the Vampire, so that guy's just dead. Oh. There we go, that's first blood from across the map. IG will get that first kill. JunJia still gets the smite on this objective. HongQ with no flash. Is that another find for them? They're trying to look for it. Oh, right between the straights there. JunJia's taken out, and they're continuing this domination. 3-0 lead here for Invictus Gaming.
Well, it takes them 13 minutes, Alk, but 3 kills very quickly. 2 from Rookie. That first one onto Vampire was so much damage onto him, and I was sure Gala was going to block the one onto JunJia, but he snuck it around the wall, and really nice 3 kills here. But JunJia got the Drake. That is a positive here.
I think that's the
but
only
this sleep on the
here.
Vampire, yeah, it is really nice. One shot with the True Shot Barrage and the Paddle Star there. But after this, I mean, HongQ flashes out of the Cataclysm to avoid the damage, so he lives, which is really nice. But then another sleep catches JunJia. Where does this Q go?
He doesn't block it. It's AoE. Okay. That's
Gala
AoE right there.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe Gala should have just ran. Maybe he gets out.
Oh, and then he flashes. Oh, that's
Look,
disgusting.
JDG win together and they lose together. They get kills together, but they also die togetger out.
But Jack, we didn't want to see that. You called up Tabe, or maybe you just texted him on Discord.
I can't be too biased on cast, okay?
What do you mean? I literally asked you, hey, how do IG win game 2? And you're like, well, if JDG just don't throw, or if they don't play very well. You gave me the JDG take even then. So what's going on here? I mean, this is great. Look, I want to see Rookie succeed. I want to see IG in Group Ascend. And while their season hasn't been great at 2-6, a win here tonight keeps them in contention for top 4. But still, like, why? How is this happening? Like, it almost feels almost magical, but I think Jwei is playing really, really good, and they're playing aggressively, which is what we wanted to see with this composition.
I mean, many flashbacks a little bit to there's a triple kill from Rookie on a Zoe, I think from a long, long time ago. Vampire.
Okay, Pop Blossom will land, but the spells, I mean, the Spell Thief gave him some movement speed to get out of this one. Where does Jwei go? Cataclysm to lock up all of the members of JDG. A single kill onto Rookie is good. That'll take his cleanse as well. Herald seems to be started up here by JDG, but I think you're losing a little bit too much on the map here. I mean, Ornn is getting some free time alongside this Twisted Fate. You're potentially losing this mid-tier one with this Trinity Force completed for Photic. They're going to move members over, but Vampire has no buttons to really play, and Gala is getting chunked.
Oh, this Photic stay he does. So one more auto with the Trinity Force finish. The Sheen is enough to take down that mid-outer turret. But for IG, outside of Rookie getting caught there in top lane, this poke comp is working. They're keeping the distance really well, and JDG just don't have the tools to close the gap. When Vampire's getting one-shot like he was, like he did do in that fight. And for JDG, you're hoping that Vampire isn't one-shot every fight, but Rookie finds a really nice angle over the wall. And JDG will find the Herald. That is something to be used for this upcoming Drake. It's only one apiece, and massive lead in top. I mean, we haven't really touched on this. I guess at the full tower, because the CS is not that big of a deal. So it's 1 kill in a full tower. Xiaoxu's up 1.2k.
It's pretty huge, but I'm looking at experience right now, and even though top laners get more of that here in the game, Ornn is going to make use of that stat or that bonus really, really well. Already halfway through to him getting the Ornn upgrades for the rest of his team. And if we're talking about getting into a much longer game, if we're talking about items trying to be on parity, those masterwork items are going to give you about 1,000 golds worth, give or take a little bit here and there. So that potential could be like a game breaker if we're in an even state, which we are right now. 50 seconds before this dragon, and while IG have a lot of summoner spells up, there are a couple of flashes that I'm looking at from JDG that might make this fight a bit of a tough ask.
40 seconds away. Rookie has double cleanse. I guess he's got the free one, and then it would be pretty crazy if you could hold on to the summoner spells from Zoe as long as like spellbook. You could have like to be fair, W's already crazy enough. That would be ridiculous.
This is a champion where you don't have to land any spells and you can kill someone. Okay, so let's relax on the Zoe balance class.
He's always a fun champion. I think that it's good to see. I'm really excited for our first like best of fives in like Fearless Best of 5, sorry, in 2026 to see what is prioritized towards the end. And we're getting close to those Best of 5s, but right now we're looking at this second Dragon being started up by IG. No vision again for JDG around this Drake. You could try to look in, but it's a really tough ask. Flash, no flash on Nico.
Oh, JunJia, he summoned up the Herald, and it's a 70 damage smite. He just got it at the very last minute. That's a free leash coming on through. Oh, and now we're using the Herald to get out of this one. Complete clownery going on around this Dragon. As IG, they may have had a couple of those kills. They might have won some of these trades, but now they're just losing out on the map. Oh, and just a perfect flash from HongQ to put the cherry on top. IG can find nobody in this play.
Well, that's a clone that's going to get slept there. So IG get absolutely nothing. They have full priority. Vampire.
Vampire's dead. Okay, so Vampire's going to get one shot, but I think...
That's unfortunate.
You're going to take that. We got the Dragon. We got 2 plates in mid. Look.
I'm looking at the 500 goldie for JDG, the 2 Drakes, and I'm looking at IG having priority over the Dragon again, and JunJia just goes over the wall and steals it, and they get out. I need like a mod check on if that's allowed to happen this many times in a series, but it's continuing to happen.
Yeah. Also, you know, that is, I think, a weakness of this composition from IG. They don't have a support that can really zone out a champion like a Wukong or anybody of the front line. We talked about for IG when this team is going to find success with this composition, it is going to be with them drawing battle lines when you're doing those standoffs with the opponents, whittling away at their health bars so that you have an advantage in these fights. And in that time, that was IG kind of skipping steps or just trying to brute force the objective. And it leads to the flip, as we see, or the 50-50 between our 2 junglers. So, again, IG, despite being down in gold, still have a lot of powerful items. I mean, they just have a Masterwork Trinity Force done here for Photic. And this team is going to be really strong on this spike. 2 item core for both Photic and even for this Jarvan is massive. Whether or not they are able to turn this into a big enough lead, though, is going to be the question.
The thing for JDG, though, is that HongQ, with the TF passive, despite the kills that Rookie has this gold lead, right? Like 700 gold lead, plus the Roa has just procced. So he's a full level up. Gala's not too far from finishing his stacks. So, yes, there's that Masterwork item for Photic, and that is scary. But HongQ's on 2 items as well. A full, like more than a full level up. So that's just XP in general from laning that he's up. And Gala is... I mean, Soboro's dead.
Yeah, I don't really got to do much here. That one was... I appreciate JDG for giving me the time, because I really was just going to go over to Macro, the Orn guy on Twitter, and see what his guide for upgrades are. I know it's generally the less stats that are adjusted from the bonus usually get more. So I'm currently still looking for this, but essentially I was going to say that if we're going to masterwork any of these items, it's probably Muramana in the future. So, but
okay.
That is just JDG getting a full bot lane turret, and that time it was for Xiaoxu. The top lane tier 1 was also Xiaoxu, so we haven't really talked about him here in the series, but he is really making a breakout in this game number 3 on this Renekton, a pick that we knew him for in 2025. A lot of members of IG are trying to make this play happen. Photic's also coming.
Yes, Flash, and there is a TFTP to come over as well, but looks like Xiaoxu will just be able to walk out of here. Does get knocked up.
Oh my god, look at the damage! That True Shot Barrage just ripped him apart. I think he didn't know he was going to take that much there. So they'll finally get that Renekton down. That's a big pot of gold that they were waiting on. Some side lane pressure being alleviated. And that was even the mid-tier 1 falling. So JDG are going to kind of lose a little bit on the map. But I think you're relatively pretty happy about that as JDG.
Yeah, that is a disgusting burst. The True Shot Barrage alongside the Paddle Star plus the auto, like the extra passive auto from Rookie just did so much damage to Xiaoxu. I think he didn't expect to die there, but I mean, HongQ had TP, decides instead to get a bit of gold, but Rookie getting that kill will mean that he has pulled himself back into the lead. HongQ working on that RFC. I think, talking about the Masterwork upgrades, back when it used to only be Mythics, Trinity Force was called like Infinity Force or something.
It was very cool.
I like being able to upgrade every item, but not having the names, that is a nerf.
Agreed. Very much agreed. I think some of the unique parts of League of Legends have been ripped out in the favor of balance, which is going to be very sad. So, here's another attempt. IG, they will have vision control again of the dragon. They're going to pull it in the exact same spot that has been stolen in the last 2 plays. JunJia is again over the wall. Destiny Gate is going to be called down. There is a bubble that has landed onto JunJia, so he is no longer able to seal it. Finally, we have secured an objective. We use the Cataclysm to put Vampire's clone in the baby cage, and nothing else is gained. But finally, IG very firmly contests this dragon, or hold on to it.
Well, HongQ is in there too, so he has to flash away. I feel like every single Cataclysm has just been a flash burner. It hasn't been a combo or anything like that, but it means that no one can escape Rookie and Photic, but mostly Rookie's damage. Really nice bubble. I don't know if Xiaoxu knows that he's on a ward here, and IG are playing it off very well and said Xiaoxu will walk away, but yeah, the really nice bubble onto JunJia means that he can't get away that Drake. So this game is the closest one we've had in this series. It's 1.5k gold lead to JDG, 2 dragons each. And for IG, that dragon is exactly how it should look. For JDG, if they're not there on time first even, you shouldn't be allowed to get in. JunJia getting over the wall all the time and stealing away dragons is not allowed to happen if IG want to contend some of these top teams.
We're even getting a double tier build here from Photic, so if he can get to that 3rd item and be really, really strong, then I think we have a contentious game. But maybe an argument to be had is, do you have enough time here in this one? You know, we talked about some of the scaling that's going to come through. We've already seen that team fights are starting to ebb their way towards JDG's favor, but if you can get enough time, this tier build is going to offer so much to Photic. So we'll see whether or not, we'll check back in with him in a couple of minutes afterwards. Right now, it is still a 2,000 gold lead here for JunJia Gaming, and I think they're happy about their lane setups, especially because this Twisted Fate just creates so much pressure. Again, if you're in Fog of War and you know he has ultimate, that's just a big kind of barn breaker for you.
Yeah, and I think that for JDG with this TF as well, if they are in a position where they can all hit, I think basically no matter where we are in the game, JDG will win at this point and onwards. But the range is such a massive advantage for IG. JDG don't have the best gap close targets. I mean, Destiny's been used.
What are we looking
Is it just
for
a vision?
here? Vampire gets chunked out. Here's the engage from Soboro. The gold card lands onto Zoe, but it's an immediate cleanse. He's put into the bubble. Vampire fights 4 people with a Pop Blossom, and that might be the lead that JDG need as they try to open up this game. Gala will be taken out the very end, and Soboro's trying to squeeze for a little bit more. It's a 1-for-3 trade in favor of JDG. Maybe just enough damage dealt by Invictus to stop them from going for a Baron.
Yeah, I think the start of that fight for JDG was just too rough, even though Vampire finds a great flash Pop Blossom and lands onto some important members of IG. The health bars are just too low. Gala can't win out here. So this is very strange to me. Like, the Destiny's used and Renekton is TPing in the middle of everyone. JunJia goes while the Ornhorn is going off as well. Doesn't look very good, but then Vampire hits a massive Pop Blossom and Xiaoxu's allowed to unleash here, but Gala's just too low from the original fight that he can't 1v1 Photic. The bubble does a massive help in that too. Really nice play from Rookie. But for JDG, they will win these team fights like we were talking about if given a fight like that where they can close the gap. IG need to keep the distance if they want to win.
That fight, remember, top laners getting access to that huge shield when they land on their teleport does allow you to play a little bit more aggressively. Also has a 3,500 gold lead available for himself, so maybe feeling a little bit like the big man on campus, big crocodile here on the Rift. Dragon spawns in a minute, and Jack, I gotta say, no flash on Gala, no flash on HongQ. That smells like a recipe for success here. Xiaoxu is just right into the backline, stopping Jwei from walking forward. Destiny Gate is called as the Cataclysm lands onto this Renekton, but now he is too low, and he will not have teleport for this upcoming play, so a small skirmish has turned into a big win here. HongQ has decided,
Ooh.
I'm Destiny gating up in the top lane. We're not fighting for this dragon in 35.
Yeah, it seems like the call is to get some more gold on the HongQ. Finish this Zhonya's would be nice. He does have TP to join, and IG are resetting, so maybe there's an option to do that, but the Destiny not being available means it's very difficult for JDG to get vision without the Nico clone. And that's one of the biggest parts of Destiny is you're able to get full vision of everybody, and there are no spell shields, so won't be able to block that. I mean, the all upgraded items, the Masterwork items are all coming in now. I think we're only waiting on one more, and now level 17 has been ticked over, so that very, very important support upgrade Masterwork item will be able to get gotten right now, but Vampire on a flank, no vision on the bot side of this fight. On that blast gun, he could easily get into the Drake as long as he's not spotted. Vampire's actually gone way further.
Oh, but they know he's here.
He was
that
seen.
Single
he was
ward.
seen.
Oh no, can Vampire escape? He has no proto belt. He doesn't even have flash backup, so Jwei will get stunned, but Soboro is here. Vampire's gonna try and turn, but it's on the 2 tankiest member of IG. How much more can we see from them? Saboro trying to land the Call of the Forge God. Even Xiaoxu's on a flank. That's the trade. It's 1-for-1. There's no Ornn, but there's no Nico now available. JDG still have a massive gold lead, but this Dragon, it's not a soul quite yet. It's just a single soul point. Can the poke land here from Invictus Gaming? I think this is a really, really strange Dragon as JDG. You need to find another pick. You need to make some other play happen. Mikhails goes on to Jwei to get from the gold card. Here's the Destiny Gate. It's going to land on the rookie. He'll cleanse out. Xiaoxu is on the flank. JunJia has split open the rest of this fight, and Photic has found the first one. Nobody is on this Ezreal right now, and the rest of IG, they've now wrangled themselves back into this fight. Jwei trying to help out his AD carry. Photic does die, but Jwei should be able to flag and drag his way out of this one. And it is going to be Vampire who does return off of the respawn, so maybe, just maybe, JDG have earned themselves a dragon here with no jungler alive.
I mean, this game is tooth and nail, Alk. And Xiaoxu is so fed. Everyone is scared of him. That's what pushes the backline of IG away when they commit to Soboro. But the range is massive. So Soboro goes behind, pops Dominus. The Destiny is proc. We're going on rookie. But goes heal. He's so fast. Even though the stun and the cleanse comes through, he's away. And now Photic is spacing JunJia. Xiaoxu can't close the gap early enough in this fight to really make a massive difference.
I mean, Photic is absolutely pumping damage. We had big hopes that this guy was going to be able to perform after a very, very crummy last few years in the LPL. Hasn't really found success. We even talk about his top laner on the opposite side, Xiaoxu being a top laner that is worthy of your all-pro accolades. Dragon is going to be started here by JDG, and doesn't look like IG have time or the ability to contest, but hell, who cares? At this point, let's just force it. True Shot Barrage, Call of the Forge God lands, and that's the bottom lane duo of JDG poked out, but Jwei is nowhere near this. We're going on to HongQ. Let's not even go for this Dragon, guys. We're not going to get in time here. Vampire's going to find 4 members. Flash. Pop Blossom lands onto them, but is it enough? Gala is letting the rockets go through the air. We're seeing right now that JDG look a little bit dysfunctional, but the damage is starting to land. Xiaoxu will slice and dice back in. Now Photic and the rest of this poke core from IG will move forward to get rid of the members. Xiaoxu has way too much HP and not enough damage from Invictus Gaming to answer. But HongQ, no flash. RSC maybe comes up in time for him to get this stun onto Photic. He's going to arcane shift forward. Just give me a breath here, brother. Let me breathe. There we go. That Seraph's completed, and another True Shot Barrage is let loose, but JDG will grab the Dragon and win the team fight.
Yeah, the team fighting from JDG is so good. Vampire again hits a massive Pop Blossom, and HongQ goes around the side, constantly peppering in these stun cards. JDG, 4,500 gold lead on Xiaoxu with this 30% health shield. They're starting Baron.
It's already gone. I mean, teleport here from Soboro, but look at where Jwei is. He is in his base right now. Even with the flag and drag, this Baron is a foregone conclusion. Whether or not IG can maybe chase him out of the pit is the next best question, but even that won't be answered. JDG will get the Baron. That'll be a buff for the next 3 minutes, and Jbetto, I'm looking at the timer right next to it. 3.5 until that Dragon, and that's Soul potentially here for JDG. We'll take a look back at this fight.
JunJia's just allowed to stay in the pit all game for the entirety of the series. He is allowed to be in here. Vampire turns around, hits 4 people with the Pop Blossom, and HongQ's on the side here. Even though he's hit by this sleep, the damage is not enough. And JDG just do so much of it, like the stun cards over the wall. There's nothing that IG can do because with these stun cards, JDG can close the gap. Xiaoxu is so strong. Flash stun card. I think HongQ played this fight so well. Every stun card found a kill.
We're seeing that lack of consistent damage, especially from the mid lane, start to creep its ugly head here in this game for IG. The Jwei has to land spells, and if she does, they have to be from range so that they get even more damage. If that's not the case, then the Paddle Star just turns into like a, honestly, the Yaoi paddle. There's just no damage behind it. You're doing nothing there. You can't even hit anybody with it. So what's the point? Well, we checked in. I'm looking at Photic's inventory right now, Jack, and there is a finished Spear of Shojin, so he has the repertoire and the items to do it. He's close to finishing what looks to be another Muramana.
Yeah. I don't think QSS builds out of Cudgel, does it?
No, it does not. Out of Cold
So he's got 3 items. I think it would. Okay.
Not more than a Star Paddle. So.
Yeah, Have you ever been hit by a Star Paddle?
No.
I haven't. But if I was to be, I've seen how much damage they do.
I've been hit by an Aurelion Soul before. I know what a comet feels like. So. We're seeing JDG.
But you just tank that. You just like that.
I try not to, but as an AD carry player, getting hit by the spells is just, it just feels
How many AD carry players do we have in the LPL? A lot.
Too many.
Like the
Too
LPL
many.
English.
I mean, look,
I'm
the
also,
LPL is
I
the
think
region
Slayer
of the
is.
AD carries. So, well, now we're seeing JDG
Now
try to
JDG
put the
pushing
finishing
in.
touches on this last game. Can they do it, though? Remember, a win here for JDG means top 4. A win here for IG, a legendary comeback here in this game means that they get to keep their top 4 dreams alive and they don't have to play in the play-ins. Baron is now left for another 30 seconds, and I'm looking at that dragon again.
Xiaoxu is just so strong, pushing in mid. He's probably 5,000 gold up at this point. He's level 19. He is so strong. No one can check him in this mid lane. Get some plays here. 5.3k. He's going to be nearly full build. Well, it'll be a little bit more, but I mean, it's Chemtech Soul in 50 seconds. Not the best, but when you're hoping for a comeback, I feel like Chemtech Soul is maybe the best soul from ahead when you're like to deny comebacks. When you get below like 50%, you get the passive proc. IG, if they manage to get Xiaoxu below 50, he just gets so much tankier, gets the Sterak shield. He's infinitely harder to kill. JunJia with the GA as well means that he's so much harder to kill as well. So even if for IG they find some miraculous kills here, some way in, down 8,500 gold, these members are so tanky and so survivable.
What is this TP from Ornn? He gets canceled in the mid lane. It's right in front of Xiaoxu, so he just drops the stun. Ruthless Predator just decides, guess what? We no longer have an Ornn. That's IG completely forfeiting off of a minor mistake punished by JDG.
Rookie no cleanse as well. That was forced out too, so nothing IG can do. They lose Chemtech Soul. Baron is still 2 minutes away. I would imagine that is going to be the bell of IG here, where if the Baron spawns, if JDG just bide their time, finish up some items, you know, we've only got 4 on Gala, so he's got, like, it's crazy to say, but 37 minutes in, like sometimes you'd want to say, oh, the gold is becoming a little bit irrelevant. No, not at all. Long TP and the Destiny.
Lands a gold card. Here is a big croc right into your backline, and while it isn't a Pop Blossom that'll change the world, it is a Xiaoxu who's going to end it here for Invictus Gaming. A very clean 3 kills. He's diving underneath your inhibitor turrets, and he's probably chasing you down to your Nexus. Crocodile Alley is being found, and Xiaoxu is the president. This is an HOA meeting you cannot miss if you're a JDG. Thankfully, there's no ways, but it seems like bot lane is going to be the play for them. They're going to put the finishing touches on this one, and JDG are going to move up 2-1 in the series.
And with that 2-1 victory, Alk, JDG will cement themselves into playoffs. They do not have to worry about any play-ins contention, who they're playing against. It's going to be Group Ascend, split 2 for them as well.
2024 spring was the last time we saw JDG beat up on IG, and while You Should Know Me's not here on the lineup, you should know the names of this Jindong lineup. Take a 2-1 And honestly, a much needed one after a small slide in the losses here for this JD team.
And you can see the smiles on their faces and the cams as they check the victory screen there. They're happy about this win. They haven't beaten them in 2026 either. So, again, Demacia Cup, but that first loss against IG. JDG have taken down some very strong teams and also lost to some not very strong teams in relation to how good BLG has been, who also lost to Top Esports. But JDG will find some stability in their standings, qualify for playoffs. We'll see them after play-ins, but I'm sure that feels good. They don't have to worry about their last series. They've made it. They can relax and start prepping for those important matches to try to make it towards first stand.
Yeah, that's a huge win for them as well. In terms of game differential, they're going to be now at +2 because of the 2-1 win. I'm taking a look at the rest of their series. JDG, to finish out the season, will play against Top Esports. So it is highly likely that JDG could be our third-place team going in, but there's always the likelihood that someone either gets an upset or we start to see game differential. It's going to be the big make or break, especially for a team like Weibo, who have 2 series left. They're playing against AL and IG to finish out the season. But, man, what I would say a surprising game. I mean, we talked about it from the draft that if IG aren't ahead, they're not going to be winning a lot of these fights, and I think we saw that very plainly. This is just what happens when you have a poke composition, and 1, you don't have frontline or a reasonable amount of engage, and 2, you are not really doing the damage. You're not poking before we get to an objective.
I mean, that comp is very hard to play. Like, it is pure mechanics. Vision is important too, but JDG get their team fighting draft. They get their team fights over and over and over again. I think, like, the most recent we've been seeing the Zoe is, like, Zoe Ziggs with a dive, and you just try to kill as quickly as you can. Like, the sleep comes through, the Ziggs ult as well. But with this Ezreal Karma, look, this is twice. Maybe this is something in scrims that's getting played later on in the Fearless. I'm yet to be fully convinced, but I think it's just really hard to play. I think it's fine if you have a bit of a better front line. I don't know if I love the Ornn with it, but I think it's incredibly difficult to play. IG, give it their best go. They, played pretty well compared to how we've seen them play this season so far. They give JDG a run for their money, but JDG, well, they lose a little bit of sweat in that game. They do bring it out to a very solid and I think this JDG team is so good at team fighting. It's a worry in game 1, but they look really good when they've got a team fighting draft and they're able to play their own game.
I mean, that's what we're expecting kind of from just pulling over the CFO duo in the mid-jungle, trying to hopefully give them a little bit of direction. I'm still on the fence as to whether or not I feel like JunJia and HongQ are really working the best in tandem, so we'll end up seeing. But big standouts in that game. I think Xiaoxu's probably earned himself a player of the game with his Renekton in that game. If you want to pull the lens a little bit further back, player of the series might go over to Vampire, although this game might be a bit of a demerit instead of a praise late in one.
He was pretty good. I think the Vampire did well. It found some really crucial ults, but Xiaoxu just... I feel like top lane it has been in this week, or like these 2 series tonight. I'm also thinking back to that BLG AL series with the Renekton. Like, it just goes... It feels like it swings so heavily one way. I know that support counterpick has been something that in 2025 has been really, really important, but top lane feels like once you get a lead, you are isolated in that lane because no one is coming to help you. There is nothing to do, so you just keep losing the lane. And we get looks like this, where sometimes it's the Gna up 5,000. This game, it's the Renekton up like 5,000 to 6,000 gold by the end of the game. Ridiculous. Last year, that wouldn't have happened as much, but because of how much investing in the bot, like Scuttle is, the dragons, the bot lanes being sometimes volatile, I think that the top lane ends up being very fed by the end of the game.
There's HongQ getting his interview. Yeah, I would say generally that's kind of what I agree with. I will say in this game in particular, Xiaoxu got a full 5 plates on top lane. Then he finished off the bottom lane tier 1 as well. And when you are playing in any lane, this isn't just strictly top lane, but top lane is probably the best example because of, like you mentioned, how isolated it is from a lot of the early plays. If you are not making successful plays on other sides of the map to try to get something back, then it becomes even worse. Like, Ornn into Renekton is slightly losing, but Ornn should be, you're down 20, but I'm playing Ornn, dude. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
I'm gonna outscale you. I'm gonna be better in just the value that I give to my team. But we also just did not see Soboro have an impact in this game. That has been a big worry, and not just for Rookie, but both of these solo laners have a tendency to fade into the background, either be irrelevant or at worst be a detriment to their team. And we've talked about for a long time strong solo laners. It's why BLG has been at the top of the league for so long. Just smash your lane and win the game. You gotta find a way to get around this. We need to see these two step it up.
Yeah, and they might not have a ton of time to do so. You know, I don't exactly know. I have to ask you exactly how IG do make it to playoffs. Like, directly, probably very unlikely. Go through play-ins. You don't have that many series left for Split 1. You know, you've got, I think, one more against, I think it's Weibo on the last day.
Yep.
Then you've got play-ins, which is 2 best-of-5s, and then playoffs if you make it to that. Hopefully this IG team does make it to Group Ascend, make it to playoffs. But then after that, that's, you know, your Split 1 done. How many games you have left is running out. So how much can you get done? How much can you improve before you're on break? And then we're into Split 2 talking about MSI contention. I know that's a while away, but it will catch up to us very quickly. If this IG team, if these solo laners cannot pull it together, we're going to blink. And we're going to be having this conversation about IG again, not making it to MSI, not performing well, maybe even not making it to Worlds.
I don't think
It's
Brothers
January.
was making
It's
MSI.
February.
I know. Them Brothers was not making MSI in this form. It's tough. You know, these are big shoes to fill, right? For Photic and for Soboro and for Jwei, you're taking over for Thashai, Gala, and Mako. Those are legendary names here in the league, and those are always going to be really tough shoes to fill. We do have an updated standings graphic available for everybody here at home. We'll note, unfortunately, we do not have it color-coded for JDG, but they are locked for playoffs top 4. So they will be able to make their way in. They do not have to, as you mentioned, do those play-ins. They don't have to play additional best-of-5s to get in. So I think a big worry off of their back. Thank you. A big color bar definitely helps. And IG are not able to get the 4th place. They cannot get 3 wins. They cannot get more than 3 wins, even if they win their next series. They're also -7 in game score, so they're never making, or there's actually -9 right now with this loss. So that's tough.
Should they be green? Like, are they
green.
locked play-ins upper bracket? There's no way they can get anywhere else. So
correct.
This means that Weibo and Top Esports have to fight for the last remaining spot here. I know that Weibo plays against IG on their last day, but it's a tough, you know, ask here for both these teams. You'd love to make it into the upper bracket. You do not want to face the risk of like 2 best-of-5s losing. You're not in Group Ascend for Split 2.
Okay, let's get away from this graphic. This big blue bar is messing with me, man. I don't want to see it anymore. I'm going to assume we are probably close to getting our player of the games and we have highlights. So we did. Okay. We're going to go through highlights. Jack, I want to talk to you about, kind of as we wrap the end of the show, we have 3 days left of the regular season. What would you say is one thing, if a fan were to, if a fan is still watching right now and we're going to end the regular season, what is one thing that viewers at home should be getting ready for playoffs?
Oh, I mean, it's a good question. For playoffs, I think I'm going to start with, I know this isn't part of the question, but I'm going to say play-ins first. I think that getting ready to see, there will be 2 teams that are joining Group Ascend. That is a massive part here. So we're hoping or I'm hoping at least, that it's the Group Ascend we've currently seen. 2 teams are going to first stand for playoffs. So hopefully we can send our 2 most consistent teams. So far, that's been nobody. But I think looking out for both of those teams developing some actual stability. Like, I think that the biggest part for me is I want to see a clear best team. I've been largely unhappy with the fact that everyone... It's very entertaining, but as someone who... I'd love to have the LPL win an international this year. Having everyone kind of win and lose against everyone else doesn't, like, feel the best for my confidence. So having a solid number 1... A solid number 1 and 2 would be great as well, but a solid number 1 would put a lot more confidence, because it's probably going to be T1 JunJia on the other side, and that's really scary.
Xiaoxu player of the game, expected from what we just saw from him. Now, hopefully the LPL does not grief me, and us, I guess I should say. This is not a solo venture. Player of the series. Now, I'm going to go take a look, and I know I kind of spoiled this earlier. Gala has the most player of the games or player of the series for this team at 2. Vampire and Xiaoxu are both at 1. I'm expecting that this will probably be a Vampire player of the series.
Oh, okay. So pretty much everyone voted for Xiaoxu. 1 referee voted for the support. You know, have some support hype in there. Vampire did have a pretty good game on the Nico.
Now, give me the player of the series.
It's a tough one. It's... Go on. Yes?
Come on.
LPL?
What?
HongQ.
Nah.
Hey, he did... No. I know about the Azir game. The Rise game definitely was great. Did he carry his game enough on the TF? Maybe.
That is probably one of the more fraudulent ones we got on the broadcast.
There's mid lane bias here. Can't be having mid lane bias. We've already got... you know what? Actually, hold on. This helps my narrative from earlier. A player of the series. Perfect. Yes.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. As we said earlier, Jack thought that this was going to be a much better matchup than Caps versus Nemesis, and now proving that HongQ is better than Knight. Saw it in their own individual matchups, and now we get to see it here tonight. That's the end of our broadcast, however. We do have JDG taking a 2-1 victory over Invictus Gaming, and then earlier we had an LNG 2-0 stomping of Ultra Prime to close out the day. Everybody at home, I want to thank people, whether you are just a viewer or you're part of our official team here on the LPL English. We do want to thank our elite coffee supporters, Aaron, Soup, and Mung. Their pledged financial contributions help level up the broadcast to help and give back to the cast and crew who bring you an everyday LPL English product. Now, for myself, Jbetto, the mod team, the production team, Ilya here, and our socials crew, we want to say thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned for tomorrow as we come towards the end of our regular season here. Playoffs and play-ins start on February